Hey y'all, welcome to My Way of Mysteries, the channel that brings you multi-dimensional content, which means that the readings are from a broad and expansive point of view and that they're not for a specific time but should resonate with you guys whenever you come across them. So today I'm going to do a reading for you guys on the parent wound. I don't want to do the mother wound. I don't want to do I don't want to be specifically like the mother wound as if that's the only wound that people have, because some people's wounds are left by a father figure. So it's more like a parental wound. It's more like a guardian wound, a nurturer wound, basically a wound left behind by a person that was supposed to take care of you, a person that was supposed to nurture you. And now you're an adult and you have some unprocessed feelings when it comes to these people, which it's going to affect your relationship with your guides. It's going to affect your relationship with God, with the divine, with your ancestors, because they also take on the role of caretaker, of nurturer. And if you have specific unprocessed emotions or thought patterns when it comes to this role in your life, it does affect your connection. Okay? You tend to come at it from a trickster point of view, kind of doing certain things just so that you can get something in return. You don't really want to get into the seat where you are actually vulnerable and opening up from a heart space position towards this entity or towards the divine, because you're afraid of being hurt, because the first person that you ever met in this world that had that role didn't do right by you, or you feel like they didn't do right by you, and so you're kind of just trying to get what you can get without putting yourself in a position where you're completely vulnerable and completely surrendering. And if you know anything about the connection with the divine, it's that it's about surrender. It's about trust. It's about surrender, exactly like it is when you're a child and you're looking up to a parent. It's about surrender. So that position of surrender has put some of you in a position where you have gotten hurt, where you have gotten let down. And I know in therapy, some of you guys talk about this, but I know that in spirituality, there isn't a lot of space to have these types of conversations, especially in African spirituality. In African spirituality, you are, oh my God, it's actually so fucked up, because you're basically told that your things are not going well, isn't this as because ubabakho akaqedanga ukukulobola, or ubabakho akazange aqeda ukulobola kabo mamakho, or and this is a person maybe that abandoned your family, abandoned you. You don't even have space to process the fact that you are dealing with abandonment issues, because you're being told that your life is not looking the way that it should, because this person decided to forfeit their responsibility towards you. And now it's your responsibility to somehow hunt them down and do what? And do what? And force them? And do what? And none of that makes sense. I just want to tell you guys that right now. I feel like deep down inside, a lot of you know that does not make sense. Like, how is it that your life is apparently stuck because someone refused to take responsibility for you? How does that even work? Please. So this stuff like that we're going to address in a very short time today, just to give you some kind of closure. Some kind of closure. I also want to say that some of you do have this wound, be it a mother or a father wound, because you feel as if a parent, mostly mothers in this situation, maybe cared for your siblings more than they cared about you, or situations like that. And the message I'm getting for those people is that a lot of you are very mistaken when it comes to that. It's not that your mother or father loved or loves your siblings more than they love you. It's that your siblings needed your parents more than you did, more than you do. You are very independent. You are very self sufficient. You're like that by nature. And the way it works with mothers, naturally, they tend to bend towards the child that needs them the most. Your mother is aware of the fact that your siblings are degenerates and they need more help. I'm teasing. Y'all know that, right? I'm teasing. I know your siblings are not stupid. I'm just saying. I'm teasing. I'm making fun. But yeah. What will I do with this sense of humor? I joke, I joke. So yeah, and that's why your mom or your dad actually leaned more towards your other siblings. You are not loved less. And this is something that your parents are not even able to communicate because they don't know how to put it into words. It's not something they can put into words. They are well aware of what you have been complaining about for years, about how, why don't you love me like you love them? And it's like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I adore you, but also I want to say that those with those parents, your parents did kind of lean a lot on you being so independent and also helping around with the other siblings. And with some of you, these siblings are older than you. Why the fuck did you have to help out with them? It doesn't make sense. And so you were put in this position where you kind of had to grow up quickly because you were out here raising your siblings. And yeah, it happens. And there's something I need to tell you guys about closure, because a lot of you feel that closure, a lot of you say you want closure, but what you really want is to turn back time and make it so that it didn't happen like that, and make it so that things were different. And I need you to understand that that is not going to happen. I need you to understand that you need to accept that things happened the way they happened. No amount of anger, no amount at lashing out at your mother or your father today is going to change that which you feel robbed you of a childhood or hurt you when you were young. You are in your 30s, you are in your 40s, you are in your 50s, and yet you're still that 16-year-old or that 10-year-old looking for just a little bit more attention from your parents. Fam, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. No amount of lashing out at your parents today is going to bring you back to that day so that they can do over. What you have today is the opportunity to accept that that is how things went down. No, it wasn't fair. No, it wasn't the right thing. It should not have happened like that. But fam, it did. It did. It did. It happened. So you're gonna cry about it today. Maybe you're gonna cry about it tomorrow again. But you're gonna cry about it for the last times now. You're gonna cry about it for the last times. And you're gonna promise yourself that you're gonna do better with your children. You're gonna promise yourself that you're gonna do better with your niece, with your nephew. You're gonna promise yourself that you're gonna do better by your inner child. You're gonna give yourself the attention, the love, the ear that you needed back then. You're gonna do it for your spouse also. You're gonna do it for your siblings also, because maybe they were also cheated out of that. Maybe your parent was literally just neglectful. Maybe your parent cared more about the opposite sex than they cared about you. It's happened. You can hate them as much as you want. It's not going to change what happened. But you have a better chance of healing and moving on with your life if you accept what happened. And not only that, but accept the fact that this person did not know better. And if some of you feel like they did know better, then accept that they knew better and they still didn't choose you. And that's horrible. That's why you're gonna cry about it. Because that is fucking morbid. And then you're gonna close this chapter of your life once and for all. And you're not gonna keep feeding this entity that is a low vibrational entity that keeps needing you to refer to the past so that it can feed on you. You've still got a chance to win over this event that happened in your life. And how you do that is by processing those emotions, finding out for yourself what kind of person would you now like to be having had this happen to you. Use that blueprint to activate higher frequency versions of you that are not going to repeat the same thing. Close the chapter and move on. That's how you win. That's how this story doesn't become the story that drags you to hell every single time. This is not your story. Your story is unfolding, but it cannot, because you keep feeding the past. You keep feeding low vibrational thought patterns of the past. The past is feeding on you. The past is an entity, a hungry motherfucker. And right now, you're its favorite snack. Yes, like two Satan snack ngawe. Snackwa ngawe ngoku. Say no. Now, I want to specifically talk to the people that feel as though the reason why their lives are not going the way they should is because they were abandoned by a parent, or is because a parent didn't do right by them in the past. I'm actually going to pull cards for you, okay? It's not that your things are not going well because ubabakho akaqedanga, because your dad didn't do this, or because your mom ran away. That's not what it is. Again, the reason why izinto zakho zingahambi kahle is because the past is wearing that mask. The past is wearing the mask of your father, of your mother who abandoned you, and it's holding you to that. You have not processed the fact that your childhood was not like other children's because it had an element missing to it. And now you're older, the past is needing to switch up the narrative so that it can say, you can't really let me go because, well, ABC. But that's really all it is. It's a trick, fam. It's a trick. Free yourself. Free yourself from this pain. Free yourself from this burden of constantly having to think about someone who is not thinking about you and using that as an excuse to go hunt them down when you know very well that there is nothing but pain waiting at the end of that journey. Free yourself by realizing that you got to this big age without that person. The person or the people that did raise you, that did pick up the lantern when that person dropped it, they are the ones that deserve your respect. They are the ones that deserve your love. They are the ones that deserve your appreciation. And you are lucky. You are not an unlucky person because someone decided that they couldn't do it and it meant you. You are lucky because there were others that were there. And you turned out okay. You turned out more than okay. Close the chapter. Build a new version of yourself. One that would never do that. And move on. Eight of Cups. Leave it all behind, fam. Leave it all behind. Drop it. So that's what I have for you guys today. If the reading resonated, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to book a reading, all the information is in the description box. Later, guys.